the strat with Wheezing is that you get the British one that looks like it has a top hat, and it's got this ability called Neutralizing Gas that stops other Pokemon's abilities working. And then you pair it with Pokemon that have, like, actively negative abilities, like Slacking, that only gets to attack alternating turns. And then the Wheezing means that they can attack every turn. You gotta get British Wheezing to turn off everyone's abilities.
Yeah, Wheezing went from completely useless to having like an incredibly interesting niche of turning off abilities statically. So that's why they had to introduce Ability Shield, so you could stop your Pokemon getting their ability taken away, because it was kind of becoming a whole thing. Everyone on this podcast, except for Dan, is deeply Pokemon pilled right now, and so he's just gonna have to endure that. Fun trivia question: does anyone on this call know the only bug type to ever win the World Championship?
Caterpie.
Not Caterpie. Good guess, Dan.
Beedrill.
I'm gonna say it's something really, really stupid, like Ariados or like Spidops, something stupid like that.
Close, yeah. I would say it's definitely
Shuckle.
It's definitely closer to Spidops than not.
Huh. What would be in there? Is this like a recent win?
No, it was like 10 years ago.
Mega Caterpie.
This is a World Championship winner.
Correct. The official VGC Master Division, the highest rank thing. They've only done it since 2009. So this is the Super Bowl of Pokemon.
Venonat.
Oh, is it Crustle?
Nope, it's not Crystal.
No, is it Buzzwole?
Shedinja.
Is it Volbeat?
No, I wish it was Buzzwole. I love Buzzwole.
Buzzwole's great.
I can't believe there isn't another mosquito Pokemon. That seems like such a slam dunk. We could keep guessing, but I'll just tell you, it's Escavalier.
Oh, yeah.
Which nobody thinks about ever. It's a bug steel, like, jousting guy. It was a Trick Room meta pick, like, 10 years ago, and just so happens to be the only bug type to ever win Worlds.
How dare you? I will never forget their evolution style of stealing each other's items. Well, I guess it's just one steals the other's item, but
they trade.
I like to think they're exchanging, yeah.
Now, so this is, of course, very interesting, but... Oh, hold on. One moment. Something's Austin, help me. Something's happening to me. Something horrible's going on. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to Dice Monk. Austin's power has been drained, and now I, Colonel Creepy, have come.
I'm just a humble trick-or-treater now. I have no powers. Please, Colonel Creepy, may I have a single candy corn?
You will have to roll 1d20.
You're so excited about your 1D100 table.
I very much am. We are here to talk about the Post-Mortem to Season 12, and now I bet you're all wondering, will Dan keep this voice up for the entire episode? And it is very possible.
I was gonna start this recording with a joke, and the joke was, let's all address the elephant in the room. I'm very sorry that we had to cut the season short. I know we barely got to meet these characters. There's still so much we wanted to do, but we have to move on. This episode, of course, is going to be published as a crew gunk, as we have always done. It was never a numbered part of the season. Don't worry about it.
Because it is, of course, the sexiest and scariest number.
So Dragon Season, it was very fun. I'm going to tip my hand, honestly, because I don't get anything for playing it close to the chest. This was my favorite season we've ever done. I love these characters so much, and I don't say that lightly. I'm pretty harsh on our output, I think. I often wish I could do 1,000 things differently, but for a long time, Season 6 was my favorite. I just really loved, King Badass and Nifix and their whole shit, but I would throw those bitches overboard anytime for the Orlando siblings, who are my new favorites.
I'm too close to this one right now. I've gotta have a bit of time and space to really know where they're gonna settle in my heart. But I do love them.
I'm a big fan of, what is it, Rally Ball? I saw that on the TV Tropes page.
So we've done a number of these over the years, so I know most of the questions people ask, and I'll do those normal questions, but there is a thread in the Discord, so I want to real quick cover those questions. Very loosey-goosey here, but Pulpetta, Conduit of Newt, asks, question to all, which of the throwback items from past seasons was your personal favorite? And of course, we can broaden that out to just items in general, a big theme, and you could say a gimmick of this season was increased focus on items, where usually I don't like to do that because the listener doesn't have ready access to y'all's inventories, so it's very easy to forget like who has what. And so I just thought, don't worry about that most of the time, but this season I had a lot of fun worrying about it.
Yeah, there were a lot of really fun items that went around. I feel bad because I'm not sure how many were 100% a reference and how many weren't. I'm terrible at remembering anything we've ever done. But there were some really fun ones where like all the not Andronicus, Barbus artifacts, were those all like past season or future season stuff?
I think most of Barvis's artifacts were references to other media. I think there was a thing from Star Trek and a thing from something else. It's been over a year since we did the Barvis arc, so you'll forgive me if some of those details aren't fresh. But I believe that's what I did with his stuff. It was the super gun of Ogo Badogo was something you said as a joke like a season and a half ago, Quinn, and forgot about. So that's exactly.
I hate those. Those are the things I hate the most. Where Austin's like, you said this 18 months ago. You remember that, right? And I don't.
One of my favorite ones I had this season that was referential, not necessarily to a specific item, but to a past season, was the children's trading card deck of No Synergy, which obviously pulled back to the season where we had the fictional Magic the Gathering clone that was being played. I love that, because I am a sucker for anything in the realm of like a wild magic table, like a stupid, I roll a dice and I don't know whether this is going to hurt or hinder me.
Well, then do I have some good news for you next week.
Yeah. And like the weird trajectory that was the synergy between I just completely forgot to put down fucking
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. I forgot to put Eldritch Blast on my sheet, and then I pulled a card that gave me 20 strength, and then I was like, cool, that solves that problem at level 1. I'm gonna be a punch warlock, and that I know that makes no sense, but I'm gonna do it. And it gave the character a lot of really unique flavor, and that's why I love these kind of randomized nonsense items.
It is fun. I need to take a break a couple seasons from doing it because it injects such a high level of disrupting energy into the thing that it can be very taxing. There was a great moment in season 3 where you all decide to hinge an entire arc on like a random tarot pull, and I sometimes like have a nightmare about that going wrong.
Yeah, that being said, at least for the ones that I saw and pulled out of the deck, I think you did a good job of, this will be wildly impactful to me, the person drawing the card, but not necessarily break the campaign.
I could read the whole list of 20. That might be kind of boring. I will just say a couple of my favorites. One was Lethal Trap, because this was a rodent and like a small mammal themed deck, by the way. I think everyone figured that out. And so the idea was like a rat caught in a trap that instantly killed whoever you were fighting. That's what that did. I was very worried you were going to pull that against, for example, your dad before you were sure if you wanted to kill him, because I always knew he couldn't be revived. And so when I put that down, I was like, this could absolutely bite me in the ass so hard.
Yeah, that could.
And the other one that I thought was really funny is rats, all capital letters, which summons a swarm of rats, which attack you because it was a negative one. But it's also...
Hold on, I need to check my D100 table. I think I just have that in here.
We are all thinking about rats, which is of course a Deftones song. Anyway, other favorite items?
I was personally a big fan of the Surgeon General's coat because it led to me accidentally killing my backstory NPC near immediately.
Yeah, it was the downtime you got that where you rolled for Humdrum's health and botched, and we could have played that a bunch of different ways. If you felt strongly she should have stuck around, we definitely could have done that, but I like the way it played out. There's this is something I say every season until it's annoying, but every episode has like a branching point that changes the entire season. It would be basically impossible to do this campaign over again and achieve anything like a similar result. It's also why this is like unadaptable. I'm sorry.
He also said something important there, which is probably key to my experience this season, which is, and then you botched, because this was a running sort of theme the entire time.
that Rex kept fucking up.
Correct, yes.
Eventually, your rolls got better, especially after you got some sort of
there
bonus
was
thing.
sort of an arc that would occur where I'd be in a level 1 sheet sucking shit for approximately 2 to 4 episodes, and then we'd switch sheets, and then I would have like abilities and things I can do again.
I mean, I thought that was really fun. This is a great chance to bring in a question by Real Time Strategy. It's not strategy, it's spelled differently. Was it as much fun as it looked, being a level 20 dragon and having the main plot line be whatever the consequences come for your actions? It sounds like extremely good time.
Yes, I very much enjoyed being a level 20 dragon and the things that came from that. I have opinions on the level 1 sheets, and to keep things polite, I would say I probably wouldn't do that again. In my own personal feelings on the subject.
I like the level 1 sheets particularly, and look, part of my opinion there is going to be skewed because I had an outsized ability to do damage at level 1 because of my big arm and strength. But particularly once we were a couple of magic items deep, I kind of dug the level 1 sheets. But it was nice to just get to play around with the level 20 stuff and to be like, yeah, consequences might come, but I'm probably strong enough to fight whatever consequences come my way.
I probably would have enjoyed level 20 sheets more if I wasn't the spellcaster, where I always had to constantly be worried about keeping spell slots open and like, do I have a reaction ready for a counter spell should the time need? And, what's the strongest disposal spell at this unit? I should have just been a fighter and just rolled 100 dice and just made a machine count the numbers.
Foresight was an incredibly powerful spell to be able to bestow, and it genuinely saved our ass so many times. But it's not exciting to have your top level spell be, I do this and someone else gets to have a good time, and it's just I did it the once and now it's just quietly doing.
I did have quite a good time as I just rolled everything twice.
Yeah, that's a more of a 5th edition, balancing thing in general, is that at level 20, you have infinite options. Some of them are just better, and so, the correct way to play it can be kind of boring. I am a sicko, so I think it's funny that when you were level 1, sometimes you just get wiped out by a single shot. I'll reap the whirlwind next season.
There was one moment where I think it was Falconbridge showed up and she just cast Thunder Wave and almost killed all of us at once, where I was like, oh no, we can't take any items that do damage. Austin will immediately punish us for it.
It is okay, dropping the mask for a second because I have to say the words and then also do it in a bit. It is very funny. However, I was also the season was kind of pitched as, you're James Bond, you're confident, and then you eat shit as a level 1 character over and over again. I was hitting a point where I'm like, I don't really feel like my character's good at this. He feels really bad at this, actually.
I mean, the thing about James Bond is he often gets captured, tied to a chair, and has his testicles whipped with a knotted rope for a while before he gets his shit together in the last act.
Yeah, but that generally isn't him turning into a giant dragon to just invalidate the situation.
I would also say, speak for yourself. I had a great time getting those really good rolls at level 1 and being like, I'm suave, I'm very good, look at me being a spy.
I think we briefly talked about the idea of, hold on, let me get back into character. I think we briefly talked about the idea of using a different system to illustrate being level 1. I personally would have gone for that if I was running this, and the audience would have maybe hated it or not really paid attention at all, and gone, skip, dice roll, what is the result?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to find out a lot about the differences between Dan and I's styles soon as he starts DMing. And I totally respect, I think probably on most things we disagree with, if you actually break it down, you are correct. I want to put that out there. I am not a tabletop expert. And I mean, I don't know if you would say that about yourself, but you're certainly more experienced. I think as a matter of design, you are probably correct. I just do what I think is personally amusing. So it worked for me. I don't think we're ever going to do anything like this again. I know I'm DMing season 13.5, the bonus campaign, at level 7. Everyone's at 7. I don't even think we're going to level up, just because we're going to have a rotating cast and I don't want it to get out of alignment. But I'm glad we had this experiment, and I'm glad it's done.
Yeah, I would say I think it led to good role-playing things, but mechanically, not what I'm looking for. But I'm also a very specific kind of autistic. So, you win some, you
You
lose
don't
some.
say. You don't say, Colonel Creepy. You are not neurotypical?
Oh, well, I've got my... Oh, fuck, I forgot to take my meds, actually. Hold on, I'm gonna just do that real quick.
Oh my
And we'll
God.
see what voice I come out on the other side
Yeah.
of it.
I think in the background, Maya's just watching. She's like, I don't really understand why he's doing the Transylvanian accent right now. I kind of walked in halfway and he's committed to it.
Yeah, Maya, of course, got an episode named in her honor. Maya was right because she described this podcast as me and Dan swapping cum and slapping dicks. So if you two didn't listen to that recording that didn't include you, that's why there's an episode of our podcast called Maya Was Right.
I've gotten her up to 10 meows, so I'll be hopefully getting her to record those after this.
Okay,
Audience,
perfect.
If
Beautiful.
you hear a random cat inserted, that doesn't really sound like a cat, there you go.
Next question from Tara the Esper. Everyone, what was your favorite role that changed the course of the campaign? Off the top of my head, everyone's thinking that double crit to punch a hole through Desdemona, I believe is how that went down.
Yeah.
If there had only been a single crit, I don't think I would have given it to you because she had so much health left, but then I doubled it and then you crit again. And I was like, fuck it. She's supposed to be a final boss, but you monkey punch her.
Yeah, the first one that jumps to mind for me is the one I already brought up of the one that led to the draw from the deck that changed my strength stat just because it so fundamentally changed how that character played. But I'm trying to think for interesting failure ones. Because I can't think of an individual success roll that jumps to mind, but I do really like how the string of rolls that occurred during the second arc where Hop was desperately trying to prove herself as, okay, fuck, I've been put in charge for the mission, I need to not fuck this up, I need to go, no, I can do it, I can rise to that occasion and embody that. It was exactly the time that I needed a string of really good rolls, and I like what that did for Hop's character.
Rex killing that Warforged with his dick, I just thought it was funny. That's all I really need in this show. The show was on for too long. I really don't remember everything that's happened at this point. It's all a blur.
In the same episode that Laura was talking about, I don't know if it's the same episode, but it's the same arc, I guess. The role DiCaprio had to do to make essentially like an item to fool safety certificates, I believe, and I essentially almost crit. I think I got like a 19, so it was like the highest I get without critting. And the flavor of it is DiCaprio does create something perfect, but she intentionally sabotages it with like a blemish at the end, just so it doesn't have that aspect of perfection to it. Is relatively minor in the grand scheme of things, but it was something that allowed me to get a little bit more into that character's headspace.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I rolled a crit to come up with the idea, to find the Megalon off of that later on. So I guess that as a continuation of it, because that kind of forks the entire season from there.
I could do like a supercut of all the Megalon side quest stuff because it's like 10 minutes from like 30 different episodes and you had to do a bunch of rolls for it. So I think if you strung those all back to back to back to back, it would be pretty wild how unlikely it was. Because yeah, the Megalon was Quinn. That's who introduced it with that role, and then you later picked up that torch and had the whole plot line from it.
Mm-hmm. And discovered the wonder of Goldicus Egglesmith, yes.
It's wild. I don't really remember making the Megalon. I remember making the Megalon dress, and then the word Megalon came up again. And I was like, oh, I guess Dan also made Megalon. I never connected those dots.
The only other role I remember vividly was the one of the relationship roles that was diffuse the relationship going badly by basically doing Jug Hero.
Yeah, you Jug hooted so good. There was a bunch of also the polycule roles that were interesting. I think there's a couple times where a role made things much more dysfunctional. We can speak to that later. But I wasn't 100% sure how any of that was going to shake out, and it becoming more and more acrimonious was very funny to me.
The roles were perfectly balanced to keep just enough harmony that the polycule didn't collapse. Like, it was always veering towards it, and then nope, one good roll, it can't fall apart yet.
Yeah, I loved all that. I don't know if you're ready to speak about it, but for me, so much of Hop's journey was about your relationships, your romantic relationships, not trying to become your dad. We invented a whole side quest where you're trying to balance your magical items with your blue girlfriends. How much of that did you have any idea about going in, and walk us through your feelings about it as it went on the season?
Oh yeah, no, I did not have... I don't think there was any point early on in the season where I thought contemplating swapping Horde for a polycule was on the table. I thought that Hop's arc, at least going in, was going to be a lot more... That it was going to lean into trying to discover probably some secret about the world or setting or something, that was going to lean into the historian side. And I think it was the first time that I offhandedly said something really insincere or really mean about small folk, that it started to develop into the... Actually, maybe despite all of this research, Hop does kind of have some bad feeling, some not great attitudes towards small folk, and some classism toward the other, in favor of the other large species, and that's where that interest came from, of, collecting lots of relationships with other big important species while not really giving the time of day to the people that she's put all this study into. And that just kind of went on that was a tangent that evolved over time.
Mm-hmm. I think I've already said in the show itself how much I loved how you came from that place where it seemed the most positive, and then it revealed itself to be less so, while Rex was so callous, and then develops a sort of genuine empathy towards other people. I thought that was really clever. But, we never explicitly described any parallels, but there's been a lot of historians, anthropologists, people who were experts in a culture that they didn't respect. The thing that comes to mind is Egyptologists, just completely ripping through that country and so forth. So there's a lot of really nice resonances there.
Actually, now that I think about it, my favorite role was when Hot melted that guy and then drank him.
But yeah, so much of the history of archaeology is going to a place and going, oh, their history is so fascinating, I'm going to take it away from them and not think about the consequences for their culture.
Yeah. We didn't even say blue women until fairly far in. It's such a basic thing about the story now, but it really came about so organically. If everyone remembers, the way this was set up was Quinn and I were discussing DiCaprio's history, and that you had an ex you had a bad situationship with, and I was like, oh, is it that they're high class and look down on you, or are they low class and you look down on them? And then I said, trick question, both. And my focus going on was DiCaprio and her two exes, and that just so blew up and got out of complete hand. And then you started, you two took her exes. One of them was blue.
I'm colorblind. Which one was blue?
It's very funny that's how that all worked out, because I truly did not think that's where we were going, but that's how we roll on this show.
Yeah.
I think it's the only way that we could have made it even more fucked up, so there you go.
I don't even know if we ever really had a moment where DiCaprio on screen processes that her siblings are both intimately with exes. I tried not to get too granular in it, because I was I guess in a dragon culture where there's only so many mate options out there, it's probably more acceptable to just be well, I'll just date your ex. I'll just do that.
It's like when you're in the local lesbian dating scene, you have to acknowledge that there's only so many around, and you're gonna date an ex's ex at some point.
Both the dragon context and the royalty context, I feel soften it somewhat. But you spent a couple episodes being weird about it, which I liked.
before we even got into the season, I remember talking with you, Quinn, about what about the arc potential where Rex starts dating Desdemona. Unfortunately, she was such a massive bitch that it just simply wasn't really a viable situation.
Jesus, I can't even begin to imagine that.
Because I have to imagine dragons love milfs, right? They like age, so they're going after them. Oh, they're robbing the grave.
This is the thing about this show is that I absolutely would have let that happen as much as I would have hated everything about it. But I want to thank you personally, Dan, for not trying to bang anyone small. Thank you.
Oh, so the Cymbalines can threaten to bang our dad, but I can't bang someone else's mom? Ridiculous. This double standard, and I will not stand for it.
That's such a good road not taken. The Cymbalines definitely should have seduced your dad. Fuck, that would be funny.
Yeah, they would not have survived the season if that happened. But I don't give a shit what Thurbo says at that point.
I can't believe he survived completely. But like bottom percentage, like 1% chance Orlando makes it out of that season.
And then he dies fucking having a heart attack.
Did you expect us to kill him or someone else to kill him? Because my worry from the beginning of the season was that like a time skip would happen and then would just open with, so your dad's been killed and like the Cookie Mountains are in a panic or whatever. Or was this a situation where you just expected us to be like, your dad sucks, let's gang up and beat him up and kill him?
I thought there was like a 50% chance you all would kill him, and a 50% chance I would think it was narratively satisfying that he died in some other way, either, just getting too old or pissing someone off. And I was trying to leave all the doors open.
I thought there was going to be a power grab assassination at some point.
Yeah, absolutely on the table at all times. But then, things change. It's just like I wasn't expecting the Cymbalines to take the loom. It just one day occurred to me that it would be funny if that happened. And so it did.
Are you disappointed that we didn't attempt to duplicate anything until the very last possible second?
Nope. I think you all should do exactly what you want to do at all times, and I try not to have any preconceived notions about it. I think you and I talked on another podcast about like how often you all skip boss fights. Like I had a full like stat thing for each dragon, and they all had unique breath weapons and their hordes and all the mechanics and stuff. And you only ended up fighting like 3 of like 10 dragons. So
we never planned to, but you've always got to. You got to give it a try.
I think this is the nature of it being a pod, at least in how it works with my brain. If there's not like a map that I see that's like, okay, this is a boss arena, I'm doing everything I can to avoid a fight. But if you had us walk into a place and there's, I don't know, 4 brightly colored lanterns that need to be put out to bring down the shield, yeah, I'll shoot my dad, whatever. The mechanics are there. There's obvious. I've been conditioned to understand boss fight time.
Yeah, I try to think of it as like narrative stuff. So like if I was listening to a podcast, what would I want to hear? And if there was a big confrontation and that ended with everyone going, it would be reasonable and rational if we all just calmed down. I would be like, boo, boring. That's how I feel about it. It's regardless of the shape of the room. But
Austin,
I understand.
I think our solution to this is in future seasons, you just make sure to set every conversation on Final Destination. That way Dan immediately is like, okay, I mean, this is able to become a boss fight at any moment then. And we just, we let that be the energy that radiates through it.
So the questions we get every time are favorite NPC?
I loved Falconbridge just because she always brought out kind of the worst in DiCaprio. It was always like an exhaustion to have to deal with her in any way, and they were the part that really got into like the bickering that I wanted DiCaprio to get involved with. They truly just got under each other's skin in the worst way.
Mm-hmm. I was so surprised that you ended up blowing yourself up for her. This is another thing where if you had given me like 1,000 guesses of how the Falcon Bridge arc would have ended, I never would have said, "Oh, DiCaprio sacrifices herself so Falcon Bridge can get away, relatively clean." She has to still be in hiding, but I really thought you were gonna fight her.
Yeah, I really wanted to, but my sister was dating her, so I gotta side with family. She's part of my family too, I guess, when that's going on.
Big fan of that little guy Ulysses. Love that small boy who kills people.
Ulysses was great. I love that fucking unkillable bastard was great. I love that I created one of our biggest problems by trying to help. As I said, don't use the fucking genie wishes. It never goes well. But I really liked Sycorax. I loved. It was specifically the point where, like, oh, I'm dying of radiation poisoning, and I'm too interested in the novelty of it to do anything about it. Really got me like, oh, I love that character's whole deal.
Sycorax is hard to play. I feel like most characters I could just give you a short version if you hadn't like been paying attention closely or you skipped a bunch of episodes. I'm like, yeah, Rosaline, she's like a dickhead. She loves her son, but she's mean to everyone else. It's fine. I don't even know how I would boil down Sycorax because it is very much like a moment to moment mercurial sort of person that I'm glad it worked because I feel like it very easily could have come across as like incoherent, but I had a clear mental picture.
Yeah, I loved Sycorax, and I love that she was that she and the other mothers all represented kind of different forms of dysfunction in different ways. That they all had their own kind of distinct flaws, separate from each other. Like our dad, really just kind of kept dating very problematic people in a lot of ways.
Well, now hold on, Rosaline, good mother, unfortunately racist. There's two different levers happening there.
But I think making all your moms like distinct, but also like you could see how they influenced you. Like none of them felt like completely alien to your characterization or whatever. That actually took like a lot of thought and work and stuff. I think it was harder than it looked to be like you all have different moms and they're all like part of the same like cultural milieu, but also different in memorable ways. I don't know. That's a kind of thing that I think it would surprise people how hard it was to make all that work.
Also, big fan of our stupid, slutty dad. That's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a real dickhead, but I didn't mean to put so much of real people in these characters, but honestly, sometimes something about Orlando jumped out and I'd be like, damn, I didn't need to process that.
I think it was your time where you described, you were like, your dad will actually be very cool if you ever ask him for something, but if you just tell him you're doing something, he loses his shit, he becomes an asshole. Usually if Rex is the one saying it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to make him respond specifically to each of your like approaches, and like the more deferential you were, the better he took it, and it's he's like I guess manipulative, although it definitely doesn't seem as like calculating as like Desdemona, for example. But yeah, it's like he's a low key manipulator.
That actually feels like he's so stupid that he doesn't realize he's doing it. He's just reactionarily being a dickhead if someone comes to him with a plan, not asking him for it.
He's a performative male. He's reading a feminist book on the bus. He's got a gauged ear. You know, he's one of those guys.
We should have just come to him at like episode, I don't know, 30, been like, Daddy, could you please kill these Cymbalines? They're so annoying.
Oh, the Cymbalines were great.
I feel like this season had a great selection of antagonists. Sometimes it's hard to find a single person who's like compelling and like you can all interact with without just being like, let's just kill this bitch and get it over with, because that's hard. It's hard to like balance making someone hateable but justifying not just immediately murking them. But having Desdemona, the Cymbalines, your dad to an extent, and Keeper was great. I think they all were a lot of fun.
I mean, the first time that I realized that the Cymbalines were functionally going to exist as a steal a level up from you, in the whole potentially stealing magic items, I was like, oh no, they're the worst, they're terrible, they cannot be forgiven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if everyone remembers, but the mechanic was that they would bring your your items back stronger, and so there was an upside to putting up with them. But yeah, I also like that you all had a very strong negative reaction, because sometimes People
I
suck.
believe we only got the item back under threat of death from them originally, and I would like to point out once again, Rex was completely willing to make peace with them until he found out that Falconbridge gave them an item that was leading to dragons dying in mass by luring them into the Feywild. Rex was right. Fuck those horrible little fairy dragons.
Speaking of morality, if Rex had died in the final boss fight, would he have passed a vibe check? I know you briefly mentioned that you weren't sure, but all of that stuff was happening live on air, and I didn't have any ending written. What do you think about how that would have turned out?
Who's doing the check? Is it Lillian? If so, he's passing.
I think it's random people we don't know. If listeners are familiar with the Resurrection Cult, there's a wide latitude for whoever's doing the vibe check to apply their own morality to it. We did a whole season about this, and we decided there shouldn't be any hard and fast rules.
And then, then we also elected a pope of it too, I guess.
Two. There's a riddle pope and a tree pope.
I guess, I don't know. It's a complicated question. I also think that we briefly discussed in that season the idea of, like someone that lives too long having a particularly dangerous vibe check. And I think due to the nature of how hyper-violent Rex's life has been, I think he'd be going through a couple vibe checkers before they finished it. And I don't know what the policy there is. I think 50-50 shot. He is kind of a dick.
As a practical matter of making a podcast, my instinct would be like, well, Dan wouldn't get to participate in the last episode, which is kind of a dick move. So I think maybe Rex could come back after a long time, like in the queue or whatever, and then Dan could participate. But there's the other thing where you say no, like Rex isn't allowed, and then your last episode is describing Viola, Turbo, and your other eggs' lives, So I think that also could have been sad but interesting. And I genuinely was like looking at Turbo's inventory while you were looking down at the sword in your chest, and I was like, damn, I think we might have just killed Rex.
Because I do think there's a potentially interesting option there of Turbo Rex. I tried to play him as relatively reasonable towards the end due to character growth, themes and such, stuff of this nature. But maybe at the end of that's where Turbo has to go, oh, maybe I should have listened to my dad a little bit towards the end there and not fought him violently throughout this, and then having to deal with the consequences. And now he's fucked up his kid in a different way by being an absent father.
How do you all feel about that final boss fight and the way that all went down? Because it was actually very complex. I think if you were just listening to the bare description of events, you're like, okay, well, Rex fought Keeper, and DiCaprio and Hop teamed up and fought Desdemona. It's pretty simple. But there was actually like several layers of things happening where the new Manon was like drawing people in, and I was gonna have like the Polycule like fight each other to the death in front of Hop, try to get you to intervene, and I was gonna have Andronicus undergo some sort of crisis, and then what else was it? Bolingbroke was gonna do a whole thing, and it's like between roles and just the pacing of it, it turned out simpler.
I will say that I think if the Polycule had gotten to that fighting to the death point, I knew that Hop's trajectory was already working towards the Polycule is not the answer to my feelings of inadequacy about my horde. I need to go in a different direction. I do think that had the Polycule fight to the death been happening, I think Hop would have tried to hold the line on fighting Desdemona, and that would have been something that would have played in to how I characterized the move towards Hop the Small Folk.
Oh, yeah.
In the, literally there was so much on the line and you couldn't for 5 minutes stop trying to kill each other.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, that if you had to watch like some of them die because they couldn't keep their shit together, it would have changed the tenor of that last episode, which this almost goes without saying, but Dan killed it, obviously.
Well, technically Hop killed it, and I died.
I do think the flavor of that, like, that last group interaction would have been so much more, that I cannot do this with all of you. Like your lack of ability to coexist has forced my hand, I think would have been the vibe of it.
And that's when we reveal they weren't even affected by the Numenon. That's just how they were. They took the opportunity. I'm forgetting what my real voice sounds like.
Yeah, I like the final boss fight. It was a lot of like mechanics to it that I don't think we necessarily saw intricately, but we could see the presence of. Like you mentioned all the dragons at the start of it, how some of them were scared off by like a spell, and now some of them were like coming in to be aids, but all the, these different factors kind of came about. And I think there's a part of me that feels bad that I wasn't able to trap Keeper in a bottle and drop him off the side of the world. But I do appreciate that I was able to be there as my mother died this time. I got to see her die and live through it this time. That was the trajectory. First time I was dead and she died. Second time we died at the same time. Third time I outlive her.
Third time's the charm. Yeah, I'm curious because there was a lot of build-up to throwing Keeper off the edge of the world. I think that conversation happened a couple of different times. So only Rex being kind of directly involved, I was worried that everyone else would feel cheated, that you didn't get to slap him around at all. But then if you had, he would have cut you with the sword, and then we'd have had to deal with what that means. So maybe it was better you didn't get involved. I don't know. Do any of you have any regrets for how you approached Keeper?
I do have a question as I was thinking about this, since we're still on the topic of the final boss fight. What would you have done if I just had Rex kind of call the bluff on I'm going to kill you with my monkey dad? Because it was really almost down to am I going to capitulate to my chuddling daughter, my femcel daughter, in this way? And I wasn't really sure in the moment, but I was like, he's not. I guess he wants to keep his daughter happy, so he'll do it in this moment. Otherwise, I did not want to give the Symbolites an inch beyond that.
No, I was fully prepared for you and Turbo to have like a full, cool, final like DBZ fight or whatever at the edge of the world. I think the way that mechanically works is that like the monkey would hit the triangle for the third time, and like it would be like death is approaching. You wouldn't just drop dead that instant. It would be like then you have a cool fight, and then at the end maybe you start to die or something, and then maybe someone does something. Maybe Hop intervenes with a wish. Maybe Turbo dispels the curse in some way. Maybe you do just die. I don't know.
Yeah, in my head, I guess in the moment, part of like moving my choices were like, okay, I think I'm about to just instantly die if she rings this, and then Keeper kills her. So I'm not saying that I felt railroaded, but in my mind, that felt like, okay, this feels like a natural way of how someone's going to react to this, since I wasn't really sure mechanically what this was going to do.
I think everyone role plays, and this makes a ton of sense, as a character who doesn't want to die, which I think most people role play that way in real life. But there's like I would call it a genre fiction logic to a lot of these stories, where like, you see
the big room with the spaces and one person standing in the middle, and you go, oh yeah, boss fight, as I discussed earlier.
Yeah, but you and I did that whole Turbo episode to like build up what was Turbo's inventory and items and everything. That was part of that, in addition to just I wanted to raise another child to compare it to Ulysses, was like building a kit for a final boss fight, if that's where we ended up. I thought the monkey was hilarious. I was taken aback by how the audience seemed very shocked by it.
I can't believe all of Rex's children are incels.
Oh, no. But another thing I was thinking about, just to go back to Laura, you were saying about you knew for a while that you wanted Hop's story to be the end, to be her becoming a small folk, to live amongst them. And that, I think, A, is very cool, but B, did change an idea I had for an arc, because I knew the whole time that Keeper's sword drank people's blood, and that we had established that the blood is like where the draconic power is. And so I was thinking at some point, if Keeper even nicked the three of you, you would lose access to your level 20 sheets, as that terrible pain. Remember the terrible tummy ache Hop was getting for a while?
Yeah.
Like that was your draconic power being eaten by the sword. And so we would do a thing where like at the third act, all three of you lose access to your level 20 sheets and have to live as small folk, as Keeper has eaten your power. And then I was like, well, we're building up to you becoming a small folk anyway. That would be duplicative.
I would have to eat Keeper, I think, in that case. That's the only option, coming full circle at the end, eating the kobold.
Yeah, I'm glad that Hop got there through choice rather than circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything else you wanted to do with Keeper? Because you like your wish made him like that, and there was a moment. There were a couple moments where you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. This is what I get for helping. This is my fault." And then at the end, your like final confrontation with him in the lava chamber was just going like, "Hey, go kick Desdemona's ass." And he was like, "Okay," and that was like the last time you ever spoke. There wasn't like a big catharsis between you two.
Like on paper, there's a world in which like Hop and Keeper end their encounter with like the way I imagine it, if I'd like sat down to write this on paper, is it would have been like the end of episode 3 of Star Wars. We're doing the Mustafar battle in the big lava planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've ruined so many things for us. Well, you did this to me in the first place. Oh no. It wasn't a big enough character priority by the point that it by the time at the end. I think if this had been a shorter season, if it had been closer to the length of prior seasons, the Keeper stuff would have felt recent enough that it probably would have been a bigger priority in what I wanted to resolve in the ending. It just opened up too many other threads opened up by the end that there were other things that were my priority to wrap.
Okay, we go back in time. Hop makes the same wish, slightly amended. Keeper's back to life before he got melted. Also, he's a blue woman now. Everything else is played the same.
Wow.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with the deck of no synergy, but also the wish is the kind of well, I don't know why I strapped my fucking ass to that device. Easily could have destroyed me. Thank you, Laura, for making an interesting wish.
I would like to believe that I chose interesting wishes that were respectful of the power you'd given me, and that I didn't just ruin everything.
No, you were exactly as ambitious as I needed you to be without being disruptive.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. That was
I wanted it to be the make interesting choices button and not the trivialize the problems button.
Yeah, we still did some whack stuff with it, turning a Sorrow Sword into Depressy. It was quite a choice. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, that was all to give me more weird stuff to play around with, not to go like, oh, that whole plan that the DMs come up with. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think we did a great job here. Like I said at the beginning, I think this is my favorite season. I think everyone made really cool, interesting choices. I'm very spoiled now that having DM'd a season where you're all siblings, because it gives you such immediate buy-in and connection. Like, one of my priorities going into the next season was like, I need to have some reason why my person feels responsible for the two party members, because I crave it now. I don't want to do just a disconnected band of mercenaries ever again.
Yeah, for all future seasons, we come up with our characters and then also just put a piece of paper taped on the wall next to them that says, and also their siblings.
Yeah, next time Quinn and I are going to be married, which I think she literally said impulsively when we were talking about this in an ice cream shop 40 years ago, before you told us we were going to be siblings.
Yeah, we'll do every future season. All the player characters are married to each other.
You know, I'm just realizing something. I walked backwards into what I was thinking about for a character like 5 years ago. I don't remember when we started talking about this. But when I was told it was dragon season, I went, well, obviously I'm going to play a kobold that believes he's a dragon. And I've just sort of walked backwards into making kobolds into dragons. So there we go.
We just got a fresh question from Canuck in the Discord, probably a bit late. Curious how everyone responded to the unusual length of the season and the amount of time spent fleshing out this very complex storyline. Sorry, my bad. I think I've already walked through the math of why this happened, where I was
Austin,
like,
my pumpkins are rotting. You've taken too long.
As there's 3 player characters, 3 moms and a dad. That's 7 family members, so I wanted 7 non-family members to balance that out. That's 14 dragons, and so I thought each one will have a 3-episode arc with a downtime. You run that math, that's like 40 something episodes roughly, and every arc went like 1 episode over. So just the way the math worked out is we just I fucked up. I fucked up. I'm sorry.
I was never going to complain about the length. I enjoyed the extra time to like explore the different layers and to see a little bit more about what's going on. Just also to like role play and character. Like it was fun to role play as DiCaprio. So I was never going to be against you being like, well, I guess this arc needs another episode. It was like, sweet, it could be a little shit again next week.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. What is this private message where you said, why is this bitch so slow?
My big takeaway was, thank goodness this season's going on longer. It's giving me longer to catch up on getting my previous season Dice Funk character tattoos done that I've fallen behind on.
There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff happening. I'm trying to shuffle who's DMing later seasons. I'm doing a bonus campaign. There's a whole mess of stuff. We had to do the Turbo episodes and the Cymbeline episodes. If anyone's curious, because I try to read every comment. And some people are like, "Oh, I just love the Orlando siblings so much, I don't want to keep cutting away from them." For the record, it's either you get the Cymbeline episodes or you get no episode that week. It's not a thing where I'm keeping all this juicy content from you. But Quinn has school and I have a large Chinese son. We all have responsibilities, and that's the way the episode comes out sometimes.
Well, not me currently, which is the problem. I liked how long it went. It gave me more time to develop things for season 13. I'm up to the 4th episode of content now, so I'm really prepared.
Now, Dan, you are prepared to go for 80 episodes next season, then, correct? Because we've established now a new record, and that has to be then broken next season.
No, I need you to go even further. Like, break 100 at least, so that I've got time to prepare the stuff that I need to prep.
Get a season into syndication, please.
I was going to go 73 because it's my lucky number, but if I'm forced to go even farther than that, I have to hit 373. So I hope you realize you're committing to that now.
That really lets me put off the prep work that I need to be doing, so go ahead.
All right, Austin, you've heard it here.
For me, stories go on however long they need to. I'll watch a 6-hour movie. I don't care, So I know that some people are more sensitive to that. I am fully, unless Dan has a sudden jarring shift in personality and skill, I don't care how long it takes for him to do his thing. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'll do as many player characters as we have to chew through.
It's going to be like the, what is it? You ever see the Piss Wizard comic? It's gonna be that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's gonna be like the sequel where they went, I should have just let you do this so long ago. This is the most beautiful game that I've ever seen. Yes, exactly. Now get me my piss goblet.
Was there any particular moments that you all wanted to talk about or break down? We normally in the Post-Mortem to talk about the things that made us like cry and so forth. I don't know if any of you have any moments you wanted to talk about.
I quite liked playing through Rex's arc throughout the show. That was enjoyable for me. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Laura. There's no one else to thank here. Well, I guess you know what. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Skeech. I don't really know what this accent is anymore. It's sort of drifting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just enjoyed playing the character, really. I'm not sure if there were specific moments that are coming to mind off the top of my head, which sounds bad, but it's more that we did 69 episodes. There's a lot there, and my brain is mush, and I've pushed it all out for the pumpkin characters now.
I agree with your general thoughts. I will... I'll narrow in a little bit and go, I really very much enjoyed the first 2 or 3 arcs of working out the sibling dynamic and the back and forth push and pull of settling into what that dynamic was really fun. The whole season was great generally, but in particular, I thought that was a really fun bit of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed that part. And the part that I guess immediately comes to my mind is the scene with the bottle, where it's just kind of a choice of I had to put one of my siblings in this bottle to resolve this situation, and I just have to make a call. I just have to pick one of them. And
yes, very good. Immediately after, of course, the boyfriend blast.
Yeah, but my other favorite role of the scene.
Who gets betrayed? Woo!
Yes, I would say also as well, I enjoyed my first experience into D&D romance. That was fun. My insane Cookie Monster pants wearing wife or what have you. That was enjoyable. As well as I do suppose on some like sort of thematic level, I enjoyed the fact that Rex was not really good at being a small folk, and then the moment he gets to be a big dragon, he's like a violent, almost unstoppable force, combat wise. That's a nice dichotomy, which is why I tried to keep a role playing into it that he hates being small, and then went, what if nobody was small forever?
If nobody's small, everybody's small. I do like that you all took such an active role in the world building stuff. Like, it's something I've always tried to encourage everyone to do because it makes it feel like we're all working it together as opposed to me just showing you my toy collection, which I I think is bad. But though, yeah, it's obviously the Megalon stuff going forward in future seasons, people being able to turn into dragons. I have no idea what the consequences of that are going to be, but it's exciting to think about. And also the stuff you didn't do. You know, I think there's a world where you're like, our mission is to get rid of all magic items. Magic items are a scourge on this world. We're getting, like, no more. They're all going off the side. And then, like, future seasons, there are no magic items, you know? Like, that's a thing.
And the math of the game is irrevocably fucked.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Fuck Gary Gygax.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. You know what? That is actually the regret, not coming up with a better name than Megalon. That's a sort of a problem. Austin, I think maybe in a future season, if we ever refer to it, we change that name slightly. It's been rebranded a little bit, just for I guess the sense that it will make things of this nature.
The language changes over time, so that's more than easy enough to do. My sense of humor, I guess, is just fucking fried because I thought it was hilarious. I think Megalopolis is genuinely a very interesting artifact of like the old neoliberal order trying to understand what has happened to what it did to the world, and I think that there are parallels that are worth thinking about. But I also realize it's goofy. I've just accepted the show we make is goofy, I guess.
You realize most people in our audience aren't going to watch Megalopolis, a 3-hour-long stoner like fever dream, starring all of your favorite problematic actors,
starring a bunch of real genuine dickheads. Where the like theme of the movie is like, why instead of left and right, why don't we all just come together and discuss problems? Like no one had ever thought of that before. Thanks, dickhead.
Well, the reason we don't do that is because we don't have a time-pausing psychic baby to bring us all together at the end.
Is that a thing that happens in that movie?
Yeah, kinda.
I should probably see that at some point.
Speaking of time, one of the million hinge points of this season was deciding not to fuck with time dragons, which I think was, I was like, okay, if they commit to this, that's the second half of the season. We ended up not doing it, but that is, I guess we could still have time dragons in a later season, but I'm kind of glad we didn't because it gets so time shenanigans gets annoying pretty fast, and we got time slime, so that was fun.
Yeah, in part from just Rex being a spiteful dickhead for being put in a bottle.
Yeah, I am glad ultimately that we didn't go with it because I think exploring the sibling or the small folk into dragon like aspect of the story is more interesting to go with, and I don't think we could have done both of those storylines at the same time. It would have been too disconnected of a thought.
Yeah.
So I think it made a lot more sense. But I there is a part of me that's like, I do want to see what the time dragons look like. I mean, we were all there.
They would have been like the Joker, if not evil, you know? They're just doing things seemingly arbitrarily and randomly in ways that often would have been antagonistic. Like they would have been not outright villains, but they would have been like a major force to overcome, but not because of like any malice, just because they're like none of this matters. Like you're a tiny speck in the vast majority. Like you're like a amoeba in a petri dish. None of this matters. I don't care what you're saying.
So the thing about that is, if that's the case, I feel like it is a good thing we did not bring them back because that sort of retreads A, the Cymbalines, and B, Chorus at the same time.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about Chorus. I love Chorus. What a nightmare.
So there would have just been a combined version of the two of them, and at that point, I think maybe everyone's right. We should just duplicate the nuke and kill everyone in the Cookie Mountains. We don't need to be dealing with that at any point. Someone asking Michael Wayne, Would anyone want to be one of the small folks of the dragons? Fuck no, they all suck. I'm not being there. That place is awful.
I would absolutely want to be one of Sycorax's small folk. They're having a great time. Maybe someday she randomly smashes me into pulp. She caught me slipping. That's fine. I had 35 great years of sucking and fucking.
Yeah, you've just got to make sure that you keep hanging out in the like sex and drugs and good food room, and then anytime Sycorax comes near, you hide in a bush, and then like go, she's gone. Cool.
I sometimes like to think about all the people whose lives we kind of just really ruined when we were small folk for a while at the start of the season. Like when we showed up at Sycorax's lair, we did just kind of go around and terrorize it a little bit. Like I think we went inside like a classroom and just kind of bullied a school teacher to doing what we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, Ulysses gave a whole family cancer randomly in one episode. I like that. I think if you all had been just goody two shoes the whole time, I thought that would have been too pat. I like that there was a certain disregard, but not so much that you were like sociopath like monsters. I think you struck just the right balance.
It's notable that I was very fine with DiCaprio being known for being kind of like openly like racist and kind of interested in preserving the status quo for a very long time, but I was really very nervous. I considered at one point, I was like, what happened that eventually ended things between her and Falconbridge? And I considered the idea of like DiCaprio actively had cheated on her, and I was like, oh no, I don't think the audience will let us do that. We're already skating so by with the genocide talk.
There is a double standard, though. People are much more willing to forgive like terrible war crimes than like interpersonal rudeness. No one's mad at Vegeta, but I hear someone in the pit was slightly rude, and they're gonna get it for real.
I mean, that I think that's just sort of par for the course in media, right? At the end of the day, everyone can tolerate like a cool guy that does like a sick kill and backflips on your dad or whatever. but that guy's like a little bit sexist. Fuck him, kill him dead. He cheated on his wife. He must be shot.
Again, can we address the voice a little bit more? I'm curious. Are you supposed to be a character still? Are you still the creepy commando, and he knows all these thoughts about Rex, or are you Dan breaking character to reveal these details?
I think it's a little bit like a werewolf situation. I am him, he is me, but we are something new and different.
So you're like slowly transforming into the full creepy commander by the end of the episode. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like in the Van Helsing movie where he rips his skin off, and like the new werewolf body's coming in under it. So it's a little bit like that.
You had a lot of confidence that I saw the Van Helsing movie.
I saw that movie a lot. I cried when I was 7.
It does have a very spooky pumpkin aura now that I think about it. I think I said before about not wanting to do dragons at all in this show is that I wanted to have enough space to fully explore them, and I didn't think just having a dragon randomly show up in a otherwise dragonless season would be doing them justice. For the record, I got it out of my system. I had my room. I did my dragon thing. It's good. My load is blown. I'm off dragons again.
Are you ready for the dungeons now that I've set that up for future seasons?
Yeah, thank you. That was incredible. I almost wanted to end the recording there because we still went on a little bit after, but with the revelation that a dragon was going to go around making dungeons is honestly better than I deserve, I think, for our setting. The thing I always whine about is like, oh, dungeons don't make like diegetic sense. Why are people building these complex layers under random buildings? It's a waste of effort. No, blah blah blah. And you're like, no, I did it because I'm a weird fucking dragon and I have the ability to. And now that can just be a thing in the world.
Because he was making the Squid Games, the Dragon Games.
Yeah. Now there are just dungeons in our world. We made it make sense.
Mm-hmm. Austin, so you're saying that you're going to whip me if I introduce the big pumpkin dragon next season?
You absolutely can. I think we, Chorus Dragon was adjacent. It's not the same, but I think, if you want to do your own take, if you want to do a take on a classic, Dan, feel free.
Maybe that will be an arc when you guys go to the Cookie Mountains and you go to fuck up some NPC that we introduced over the course of the last 69 episodes just to kill them and steal their body.
Yeah. Oh, this show is fun. It's also very stressful. I'm kind of glad that I get to take a little break. I'm still DMing, obviously, but it's a much less interconnected story we're doing over there. So
Do you have a? It's from our point of view now, only 7 days away. Austin, are you a little scared?
no, not at all. I'm gonna be a cool bug lady, and if the show fucks up, it's your problem. I don't. I'm taking zero
I
responsibility.
see. Would you like to preemptively roll on the big 1d100 sheet, and then I will tell you at some point during the episode what happens?
No, well, we'll save it for
Okay.
that. You can't. I can't
Fine.
let you take this episode too, Dan. You're so greedy.
Oh, I'm sorry. You only had 69 episodes to play around
Get
with.
out of here,
Little
Dan.
Dan,
It's not yours yet.
little Dan can't come in and take one a little early. Come on.
Get your vines out of my field, buddy.
You have so much on your table, Austin. Please, I'm starving over here.
Let the creepy commander wet his beak a little bit, Austin.
Yeah, his beak and all of his other orifices.
Can I admit something to you, Austin?
I would love that, Quinn.
A deep shame, but perhaps one with a point. At the start of this season, it was like a notable thing that we were playing different versions of D&D at once.
Yeah.
That I believe Laura was playing a traditional 5e character, Dan was playing a homebrewed character, and then I was playing the 2024 rules character. I don't know what they call that anymore. Is it 5.5 yet? Can we call it that?
I haven't seen that, but I accept it, so it's fine.
Yeah. After about like 4 weeks, I didn't notice any of my spells would change when I'd look up the new version, so I just stopped bothering even looking at that point. I really think that there was nothing truly worthwhile except the custom character features for being an illusionist that I actually kept on following.
That's very big of you to admit. I don't think they made that many changes to the spells. I think it's mostly like the character progression stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably fine. But
Okay.
A question from Tara the Esper. I'm curious about this too because you made a big deal of the various cursed items they had. What did Keeper actually have on him besides the sword? What was it doing?
what did Keeper have? Keeper had it was the chitin of Nessus. It was the shirt that killed Hercules in the myth. It was the poisoned with the blood of the Hydra. It's a thing that was like constantly burning him, but since he was regenerating, the idea the bonus of it is that he couldn't be affected by like status conditions like stun and stuff because his whole situation was like constantly regenerating. He had obviously the Terfing is the name of his sword. That's from Norse mythology. It's a sword that kills anything it touches. Terfing translates to the finger of Tyr. Tyr is the war god. That's why it's the finger of the war god. It's literally just a true thing. And he also had the Harmonia, which is a cursed necklace that was constantly trying to strangle him. And that had it basically kept him from being. He put that on after you put him in the force cage, and that was to keep him from being magically trapped anywhere. So he went to get that from Rosalie, and so that you couldn't do that again. Never came up, but it would have if you had tried that again.
Was there any magical items that you had planned that we just completely fucking missed through the botching on rolls or things of this nature?
I mean, I have a paper notebook here with a page for every dragon, and then I wrote as many magic items I could think of that fit their themes. And then we went through their layers, and I like you pitched me items, and we rolled and so forth. So short answer is there was a ton of magic items that went unused, but none that were particularly important. I feel like eventually all the ones I was invested in came up, but there was like random Star Wars and Star Trek doohickeys in Barbas's lair we didn't talk about, and there was a couple endangered animals I had on a list that never came up for your dad and stuff like that.
All right, in Desdemona's lair, she had all the items from the previous seasons, the forms and what have you, sort of epitomizing the I guess stuff that happened in them. What item would you give this season? Would it be divorce papers?
The divorce papers of the Cookie Mountains. Yeah, so the artifacts that represent the form that was active during each season. This is like Dice Folk deep lore. A thing that's very obvious about this in a way that like I feel I shouldn't say out loud is like What we're talking about is like, what's the theme of the season? Honestly, it's like, what if the theme was a thing you could hold in your hand? I'm curious what you all think the theme of season 12 is, because we also have a different way of kind of engaging with that, which is the Numenon now. It's something we invented last season, and I don't know how much overlap there is there, because I also made the cowardly choice that the Numenon looks different to everyone, and so that's not as interesting, I guess, like visually.
I mean, I was assuming that the sort of symbol of the Numenon is this covetous greed that all the dragons have, that it represents something that is innately within dragons as part of it, and then just exaggerates it even further. The idea that every dragon covets and wants this hoard, and then there's an item that every dragon is going to want in their hoard, but is, uncopyable and something you would never want to relinquish. It basically is, in a way, kind of always going to create a little bit of turmoil inside the Cookie Mountains, because there is this magical artifact that kind of goes beyond any like Gladys Accord or anything like that. Like, there was a very long time where DiCaprio was completely hooked by it, and I was like, I mean, if this keeps up, eventually she's gonna kill somebody if they try to take this coin from her.
So if the theme is this greed and desire, and maybe the forum item of this season would be like a beta Magic the Gathering Black Lotus. Everybody wants one.
We got to also pay homage to the jar of broken glass that we managed to win like an entire arc with.
Holy shit! Yeah, that would be great, because it's you have to have something in the jar that everyone wants, but then you get your hand torn up trying to get it. It represents like the futility of desire.
Oh yeah, it's like pottery. It's slimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt very seen as someone who just went to another convention and bought a bunch of gems, and my hoarding tendencies. This felt very me, as I got to add little things to my collection over the last 69 episodes.
The creepy commander's starting to get very Euro trash. Like there's starting to be like a little element.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trash, am I? Roll the 1d100.
People who are planning future seasons, are you thinking about like what form is active during your season, and how that could be an artifact, how that compares, contrasts to the Numenon, or are you just like, Austin, I'm going to talk about elves. It's going to be there's going to be a bad guy and you're going to fight the bad guy. It's fine.
Austin, I'm moon-pilled now. Forms are so like last 6 seasons. We're Numenoning now. Come on.
Yeah, I want to, if I get an opportunity to run a season, I'm put a little dungeon somewhere in my world and make somebody who secretly might be a dragon in there. And then, I'm going to have a Numenon that's going to be weird. And I don't know, I had to gauge the level, because obviously season 11's Numenons were like intrinsically vital to every aspect of its story, and then in season 12 the Numenon is like a significant presence in the story, but we don't even find out what the Numenon is until probably like 75% of the way through the story. So it's about finding that balance of like, what level of prominence should the Numenon take, because we don't want it every season to suddenly be exclusively about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the very nature of season 13 and 13.5 sort of just makes it so, that Numenon's gonna be real fucking important. I don't even know what this accent is anymore, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've slipped so far. Hold on, I need to get into sort of a vampire. Blah, blah. Okay, I think we're back.
13 and 13.5 are the sun and the moon, obviously, so no mystery there, but I'd be curious if there was a different formic thing going on.
To be honest, there is a certain level of I don't feel comfortable sort of going into that. Not because I think it's a bad thing, but because I don't have this well of knowledge besides outside of like the conversations we had to be able to go into it comfortably. So there's a level of like, if I tried to do this and I've fucked up a core detail somewhere, it's going to annoy the audience or confuse them. So it's safer for me to just go, I'm going with the moon. We're just doing moon stuff to form. You can all have your theories, but probably not showing up. Same thing when people talk about bozogs, they're like birds or something. I don't really know.
Also, we did establish what the Numenon is in Pirate Season. Does anybody recall that?
Yeah, it's
Living
the
ocean.
The ocean that demands sacrifice.
Wow, I love my friends.
Does it get angry if you like pee in it? Like, what happens there? Like, what's going on? Is that why it demands sacrifice in recompense?
Why don't you try it? You'll find out real quick.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me change characters. Yar, matey, I be Captain Ocean Man.
Oh, you peeing in me ocean, are you? Bam. Dick explosion.
Jan, all you gotta know about bozogs, they're birds that kick real good. There you go. That's a whole bozog. That's done.
That's yar, matey. That'd be a lot of birds. You haven't narrowed it down.
Galarian Zapdos kicks a lot.
Yeah.
It's a fighting type.
Yeah, Galarian Zapdos is basically a bozog.
Just circling back around to Pokemon at the end of the episode, bring it full circle. Do you think there's a point in running the anti-rock berry on Volcarona, or is it just, I'm just getting killed by rocks anyway, might as well not even try to mitigate it?
No, I think you just try and win the speed war and get your damage in before you take the hit in the first place.
Should I just run a monster taming season at this point?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, no one, of course, will love you for it. What do you mean?
Because I know you forgot the Pokemon one shots and things of this nature. But right before we started recording this coming season, I did get my hands on a fucked up mad science monster taming TTRPG, and that's given me plans and options and things to steal. Yar.
I'm down. I do have an idea for more Pokemon one-shots. I don't know if we're going to be able to do them in between seasons. I'm going to say probably not. But I do have ideas for the Mewtwo Revolution for that series where Pokemon rise up and kill their human oppressors. So someday we'll get back to that. As we look towards the end here, I will say that the release schedule that you can expect after this is a bunch of pre-production episodes. There's a world building episode, I think Session 0 we're calling it, and then we're doing a new experiment with individual character episodes under the Crew Gunk label. This will all be fairly evident when you see it in your feed, but I'm trying to keep the same pace of audio, which is like 2 hours a week. So it's going to be character episodes for a little bit before season 13 starts properly. We'll already be like 7 episodes in by the time you hear it, so you don't worry about us. We're going to be pumpkin pilled.
This is to give us a backlog, so if I get a job or hit by a bus, Austin can quickly replace me.
Dan's been getting very morbid recently. He keeps sending me messages like, wouldn't it be funny if I died? Like, what if I died tonight? What would you do? Would you miss me? Would you even care?
Because there was so much, there's so many years to go into this now, and I think there's something cosmically funny if I get tossed into the drink and devoured by the living ocean.
Yeah, a lot of podcasts that take a lot less work would do something like take a week off, relax, maybe go to a bi-weekly schedule, but I am committed to getting you as much content as I can produce without dying. So
Austin, give me your private spooky accent now for when you have to emergency take over.
Ooh, I'm Dan. Are you chilled?
That felt very racist against me. I'm going to be honest. You will be canceled. Austin, can I lock in a future season and pitch you on something?
I don't think this counts as a legally binding contract, but you can pitch me.
All right, a couple ideas here. A sort of Toy Story living toy season.
Okay. I feel like that might be hard to sustain over a long period, but I'm interested in trying.
Or to sort of combine with that to give us a little extra leeway. I did the household one shot. What about the tiny biome where everyone thinking it is just things that are small?
Yeah, we do Big Tall World from Super Mario 64.
Yeah, so you got your borrowers, you got your living toys as constructs instead of Warforged, perhaps a bug here and there.
I'll play the biggest amoeba, brackets still quite small.
One of the things I love about Arabella that we have set up is that we could just have a big small biome. Like, that's just a thing that could happen in the world, and it's nobody can stop us.
Yar.
Do you ever worry what you've or I guess we have done to future seasons by creating this sort of problematic dragon sort of hellscape that permeates throughout the rest of Arabella, that became too powerful and our claws have now sunk into every nation in a way.
So here's the thing that you have to remember. This season occurred over the course of several centuries, if not thousands of years. So we have the cover of, we don't know when any of this shit happened at the timeline.
It sounds like some coward stuff, Dan. Sounds like you're not including some new dragons in all of your spooky stuff.
I love being a coward. Being a coward's great.
All right, I'll randomly refer to in the middle of next season when some faraway kingdom accidentally got into a secession crisis because their king drank the slime and failed the Megalon test and turned into goo.
That's why we do this, right? We could just play in the Forgotten Realms if we wanted to do that. Okay, you're in the Sword Coasts. Here are all the things that existed. You can't change.
Austin,
Boo.
I kiss Withers. How do I kiss Withers and his big naturals?
you have to roll to not be instantly annihilated by his aura.
Damn.
But no, I think that's why our show is better than all the other shows. It's because we let everyone get so weird and messy with it, and then you have to deal with it. So
I'm excited. Well, thank you, Austin. This was a wonderful season. I love everything you created. I'm sorry we put you through 69 episodes of it.
Nice,
I imagine
nice,
I probably
nice.
would have loved it if it had just been 40.
I think it needed to be however long it needed to be. I'm not worried about it. I appreciate you all working very hard and thinking about your characters and doing your best. And I'm excited to see what we create next.
I suppose I should get started on the writing for that, shouldn't I? We're not coming up to a deadline, are we?
I hope everyone's prepared to be scared for 9 to 45 months straight. I feel like that's going to be taxing my nervous system, but I'll be brave.
Well, joke's on you. I'm always anxious. So this is actually, because I know to expect scares, this honestly might be the most relaxing season for me.
Look, fictional scariness is great. That's a wonderful way to distract myself from the real world scariness going on.
Look, I think we all know the audience only wants to know what monsters they can fuck next season. That's the real thing. That's all they're interested in. I see them in there doing their shipping. Yar, brought it back to pirates. Ships, love them.
All right, Dan, I rolled a 53 on the spooky moon table. What happens?
Uh-oh, let me see. Oh, I broke character. God damn it.
Meow. Meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow. Meow.
Meow.